Hello, third grade. Welcome back to online math class with Miss Nazaripour. Today I have a math word problem that we're going to do together. Then I have independent practice that looks just like this problem, so I can see if you can do the same problem I did on your own. And after that, you're going to do the problem set that goes along with this lesson. We are in Module 5, and this is Lesson 2. Okay, third grade, let's get right into the word problem. I'm going to move you a little bit closer. Miss Nazaripour needs to cut a pan of banana bread into blank equal parts. Draw at least 3 ways she can do that, making sure all parts are equal. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the things that we learned in this story problem. I learned that I must have made some more banana bread because this time I'm cutting the pan into blank equal parts. We don't know how many parts yet. And I know that the parts are equal. I'm going to go ahead and underline that word because that's a super important word. If I don't make equal parts, then I'm not doing the problem the right way. And I know that I need to draw 3 different ways I can cut up. Do you remember that word for cut up? Partition. I need to draw 3 ways I can partition that bread or cut it up. Okay. So equal parts, 3 ways, and ready to find out how many parts I need for this banana bread? I need 6 parts. So what I want you to do is pause the video right now. Open your journals or any piece of paper will do. And I want you to see, is there a way you can partition this banana bread into 3 equal parts? When you're done, come on back and see what I'm thinking about. Okay, third graders, I wonder if one of the ways I'm going to choose to partition this bread is a way that you also chose to partition the bread. So right away you can see I already drew 3 pans of banana bread. And these pans, I tried to make them the best I could, all the same size, because remember, we're representing the same pan of banana bread. So I'm cutting it into 6 equal parts. Now, if I'm cutting something into 6ths or 9ths or 12ths, I'm always going to start with the smallest number in that skip counting sequence. So what am I counting by? Ready? 6, 9, 12, 15. That's right, 3s. So I'm going to cut first my pan of banana bread into thirds. So right now I can see that I've cut that banana bread into 3 parts. Now I'm going to cut each part into halves, and I will end up with 6 parts. Okay, let's check my work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 parts. Is that a good way, do you think, to partition this pan of banana bread? Let's take a closer look. So if you can see there, my first 2 pieces of banana bread are so small. They're not the same size as the last pieces of banana bread. So I can tell right away that I do not want to partition this bread this way because I'm not doing equal parts. And the story problem clearly says equal parts. Now I'm not using a ruler, so I know my parts won't be absolutely equal. I can do way better than that. So I'm going to try again to cut this bread into thirds. So that would be about half. A third is smaller than a half. So I'm going to say right about there. And then half of that is right about there. Now, well, those aren't, this one does look a little bit smaller, but more or less they're the same size. So I think I'm going to let that pass. And I'm going to cut each of these thirds into half. And I'll end up with 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I now have thirds. I don't. I now have sixes. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to go ahead so I don't get confused and label each part. So that's a sixth, 3 sixths, another sixth, another sixth, another sixth. So this whole thing, I'm going to make sure I label it, is partitioned into sixths. All right. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did for this, but instead of cutting it vertically, I'm going to cut it horizontally. And I'm going to do it by finding a third, or as close as I can get, and then finding another third. Now I'm going to cut my thirds in half to end up with sixths, trying to stay as straight as I can. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A sixth all the way down. These are all sixths. I want to make sure I label them. Okay, and label the whole thing as sixths. That's 2 different ways I can choose to partition my banana bread, but it says at least 3, and this one does not work because they're not even close to equal. So I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to pause you. I'm going to draw another pan of banana bread, and I'll come back and show you another way to partition this bread into sixths. Okay, third grade, I went ahead and drew another pan of banana bread, trying to make it as close to the same size as possible. And I'm going to start this banana bread by cutting it in half. Now I'm going to cut those halves into thirds. Now let's go through and make sure I have 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Since I've partitioned this into sixes, then these are all 1/6. That is 3 different ways I can partition this banana bread into sixths. Now it's your turn. Okay, third grade, now it's your turn. I would like you to find at least 3 ways to partition banana bread into eighths. Here I have drawn 3 boxes for you to break up or partition. Make sure when you're drawing these boxes at home, you try to make sure that each box is about the same size because it's representing the same pan of banana bread. Make sure that you label each fractional unit as eighths or 1/8, just like here I labeled each as sixths. I also want to make sure that you label the unit that you are partitioning this bread into as eighths. Please don't forget that, as well as the fractional unit. After you've partitioned these 3 pans of banana bread, come on back to find out what your problem set is for today. All right, third graders, now we're going to label a piece of notebook paper to get us started writing our problem set. I want you to get used to writing the lesson. So the lesson date is 4-27-20, and I want you to label this as math. This will make it much easier for me when I'm grading, as well as much easier for you when you're going to send a picture of it to me. Now, the problem set is on the front page is 1 and 2, but 2 is broken up as A, B, C, and D. So let's take a look at number 1. It says, circle the strips that are folded to make equal parts. Now remember, we're looking for the parts that are equal. There are 4 parts. We're going to label this as A, B, C, and D. So what you're going to do in your notebook is you're going to put 1A, skip a line, do 1B, skip a line, 1C, 1D. Now, you're going to tell me, looking at 1A, are these parts equal? If they are equal, you're going to write the word equal. If they're not equal, you're going to write not equal. So if you take a look at A, do you think these are equal? I'm going to go ahead and do the first one for you. I can tell that 1A is equal. If I thought it wasn't equal, remember, I would write not equal. So take a look at B. Do you think 1B that these parts are equal or not equal? Write it at 1B. Take a look at C. Equal or not equal? Take a look at D. Equal or not equal? Please write your answers here. Again, I'll let you look at those. B, C, D. Okay, now we're going to write on this paper 2A. And I'm going to let you look at 2A. So for 2A, we're going to use this strip to help us. And we're going to fill in this sentence. And I would like you to write the whole sentence. There are blank equal parts in all. Blank are shaded. So if I take a look at this strip, I'm going to count my equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know that there are 4 equal parts. Now shaded means colored in. And I can tell that 1, 2 of these shapes are shaded or colored in. So 2. You are going to write the whole sentence at home. You are going to say in your journal, you are going to write, there are 4 equal parts in all. Period. 2 are shaded. Period. That is the answer for number 2A. When you have copied that down, write 2B. And let's take a look at the problem. You can pause the video on the problem. There are blank equal parts in all. Count all of the parts. Blank parts are shaded. Count just the ones that are shaded. Go ahead and write the whole sentence here at 2B. You're going to do the same thing for 2C and 2D. Again, go ahead and pause the video on 2B and fill in the sentence. Take a look at 2C. Pause the video, count all the parts, then count just the parts that are shaded. Answer the question by writing the whole sentence in your journal right next to where 2C would be. Take a look at 2D. Pause the video to count how many parts are equal and how many parts are shaded. When you have done the first page, 1B, C, and D, and 2A through D, you're ready for the next page. So come over to your journal, and for the next few problems, you are going to have 2 problems. One of them has 2 parts. So write a 3 here, and let's look at problem 3 together. It's a word problem. I'm going to read it to you. You make sure you're reading along with me. Once I'm done reading it, if you need to pause the video and read it yourself, feel free to do that. Noah, Pedro, and Sharon share a whole candy bar fairly. Fairly is another word for equally. There will be equal parts. Just like if you were sharing a candy bar at home with your friends, you wouldn't want to have the tiniest piece and let your friend have the biggest piece. You'd want it to be equal. So again, Noah, Pedro, and Sharon share a whole candy bar fairly. Which of your fraction strip shows how each get an equal part? Draw the candy bar below, then label Sharon's fraction of the candy bar. Now, you have fraction strips at home that we made in Module 5, Lesson 1. You may use those for this problem. You need to draw the candy bar and partition it fairly or equally. You need to make sure you have filled in the fractional unit. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to and reread that. Show your work where you have written 3. You'll probably need some space because it is a problem, a word problem, and you know you need a picture. When you are done, however much space that takes, label the next one 4A, and we'll take a look at that. To make a garage for his toy truck, Zeno bends a rectangular piece of cardboard in half. He then bends each half in half. Which of your fraction strip best matches this story? What fraction of the original cardboard is each part? Draw and label the matching fraction strip below. So, if you were to take a piece of paper like we did in Module 5, Lesson 1, and fold it in half, and then fold it in half again, what parts would you get? Take a look at your fraction strip. Draw your fraction strip while also labeling the fractional unit. Write that in 4A. Draw your picture. You'll probably need room. Write 4B, not 4D. My dyslexia came out there. 4B, my apologies. 4B says, Zeno bends a different piece of cardboard in thirds. He then bends each third in half again. Which of your fraction strip best matches this story? Draw and label the matching fraction strip in the space below. So, just like you did for this one, you're going to take out your fraction strips and find the one that matches best for this story. Then draw the fraction strip using fractional units. Again, this one, he's bending cardboard in thirds and then bending those thirds in half. We did a fraction strip exactly like that in Module 5, Lesson 1. Here, he's bent it in half and then in half again. Draw the fractions in your journal. Make sure you label with the fractional unit. When you're all done with your work, please go ahead and send it to your teacher just through a quick picture, either by text or email. Thank you, third graders. Good luck with your work. I know you'll do great. Talk soon. Take care.